Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Mitch. Hope y'all have had a great Wednesday so far as we're getting on through the work week. Surprise, Tropical Storm Mindy did form. It's actually a 45 mile per hour storm right now. It upgraded from a 40 mile per hour tropical storm to a 45 mile per hour storm. So it's actually strengthening as it begins its process to move inland here in the Big Bend of Florida and eastern areas of the Panhandle of Florida. But here it is. This is what this thing looks like. I know you're looking at this and saying, how in the world is this a tropical storm? Well, I'm thinking the same thing. But the National Hurricane Center, when you look at these sloppy systems, they really look at one big thing, and that's if it has a low-level circulation and obviously obvious winds. And there was actually a buoy out here in the Gulf of Mexico where this low-level circulation went right over, and there was actually 45 knot winds, which are definitely supported for tropical storm strength. So that's the kind of things they look for. So this is a weak tropical storm, very weak, and it is formed in its Tropical Storm Mindy, and it will make landfall as we zoom in a little bit closer here. If my zoom in tool will work, it'll make landfall probably. I wouldn't say it'll make landfall around Apalachicola, but probably somewhere here in the Big Bend area, maybe south of Tallahassee, and move through near Perry and probably move in and scoot this way. So really, with any sloppy tropical storm, normally the worst part of the storm isn't near the center. Now there will be some gusty winds. There's already gusty winds right around the same areas that Fred moved through. There's already been a couple tropical disturbances affecting these areas right here this year so far. But this isn't going to be anything damaging, just some potential flooding rains. And I wouldn't even say that. Just I don't think it's going to be anything that y'all aren't used to around this area in Florida. Trust me. And I know y'all know that. But we're going to talk a little bit more about Mindy. And we're going to talk about Larry. And we're going to talk about this cold front that's moving through right now. So if you guys have not subscribed, definitely hit that subscribe button. Like the video if you like it. I want to mention, guys, I'm also in the process of about to here in the next month or so, maybe towards the end of the year, I'm going to buy a new computer that broadcasts this in 1080. I know you guys are looking at this in 720, and I hate that. I go over all my videos and I'm like, dang, I don't know how some of you see this stuff. Well, that's going to change. Obviously, with growth, I'm able to invest a little bit more into this, and that was the plan all along. So I want to make this presentation much better for you guys. So I promise you that is coming. So thank you all for the amazing support. Thank you all for the patience. And let's get going here, and let's pull this off the screen. So if you look at here, this is water vapor. I'm showing you this because it's very interesting, because what we have here is a trough or a cold front that's digging through here, digging to the southeast. And this is what's going to deliver some very comfortable weather here at the end of the work week into the weekend. It's crazy because last week we had a cold front moving through the same time and delivered a very nice weekend. You know, I was ripping and raving about nice weather the first weekend of college football. Well, we're going to have another nice weekend across the eastern U.S., even the southeast, for college football. Beautiful weather, low humidity. It's going to be awesome, guys. But right now, there is some strong tropical moisture surging through the Gulf states into the Carolinas. It's been very wet here in Columbia, South Carolina today. In fact, I've gotten almost over an inch of rain, and this moisture is slugging up from the Gulf of Mexico and riding southwest to northeast, and it's trying to pump up as much moisture as it can before this trough that's already entering areas of Tennessee, Arkansas, Kentucky, moves some dry air, even as early as overnight into areas like Alabama and things like that. So this will eventually move in, and you'll really begin to feel the effects of this in Georgia into the Carolinas Friday morning. So this is the good news. This is what's moving through, and this will push the remnants and the rest of Mindy on out off the coast of the southeast. So right now, let me see if I can update here and see if it'll give us a good update. It did not, but I don't know why the National Hurricane Center has not upgraded this, but this is actually a 45 mile per hour storm. It has a 1004 millibar low pressure here. They found that just recently. And, you know, if you look at this little small area of yellow right here, that is as far as those tropical storm winds extend out from the surface. So it's not going to be a big deal. It's not going to cause any damage. Maybe a little bit of storm surge. There is a tropical storm warning in this area of the coastal areas. I can't think of any big names, Apalachicola, that includes you guys. This is going to make landfall here in the next several hours overnight, and then by the time we get into tomorrow afternoon, it's on off the coast of the southeast and not really bothering anybody. So moving forward here, As this pulls up, I don't know why it's went neutral on me here. I'm just going to show the HRRR model here. And here it is. It just looks like a blob of showers and storms moving across the panhandle into southeast Florida. And even the coastal areas of the Carolinas is going to see a little bit of moisture here. But eventually, by late morning to tomorrow afternoon, the actual center of circulation moves off the coast of the southeast, and it doesn't bother anybody. Mindy's not going to be really a headache for anybody. That's for sure here. But as far as rainfall, just expect another 1 to as much as 3 inches across the Big Bend of Florida. The rest of the moisture will surge through Florida into southeast Georgia. So a wet overnight in the morning hours from the moisture from Mindy will move through this area. So if you live in southern areas of Georgia and really just the whole entire area of northern Florida, it's going to be a lot of rain and showery weather and just tropical downpours. But it's nothing y'all aren't used to for this area, just normal summer-like weather almost. But let's take a look at Larry. Larry is still a 110-mile-per-hour storm per the latest update I just saw. There's not really a defined, great-looking eye. Larry is beginning to look a little bit more sloppy. It's just because it's gaining some northerly direction here now, and it's just starting to enter some a little bit less favorable conditions for any kind of intensification or maintaining any kind of big level intensification. But it's still over some warmer waters, and it's still a Category 2 hurricane and moving on north. It's getting awfully close to Bermuda. Around tomorrow, around this time, it will be just east of Bermuda. But check out all the spaghetti plots. And Newfoundland, I know I've been mentioning to you guys, it's still looking like it's going to affect the southeastern tip of Newfoundland or the eastern areas of Newfoundland. St. John's is a city that holds, I think, over 100,000 people in it. So overnight Friday into Saturday, this is really looking like a quick hitting, it's hard for me to say damaging storm because I don't know how prepared y'all are for this, and I don't know how y'all fare with these kind of storms, but I know y'all are affected by nor'easters a lot during the colder months. So I know y'all definitely aren't, it's not like y'all aren't accustomed to this kind of weather, but this will be a legit hurricane that's going to fly through your region very quickly overnight Friday into Saturday. So you look at the latest trajectory here, and it's saying around 2, I would say between midnight to 2 a.m. Saturday. This is when y'all are going to get the nastiest weather. Probably 40 to 60, maybe 70 mile per hour winds for a brief period. Some heavy rains, and it's on out of here. And this is actually forecast to become extratropical or post-tropical and deliver feet of snow to Greenland. Yes, you heard me right. It is going to interact with obviously polar air, much colder air, and deliver insane amount of snow for the eastern areas, southeastern areas of Greenland, well inland. So Larry is actually going to become a major snowstorm. So there you go. Pretty crazy, right? So, but St. John's, it's a big city. It's going to be heavily impacted by this. And you look at the latest Euro, and it picks up speed, starts to head north, then heads due northeast, and sometime between Friday morning and Saturday morning, it is going to be flying through and heavily impacting St. John's, Newfoundland. If there's anybody in the comments who are from that area, I'm very interested on how y'all are preparing and what they're saying locally about this storm. And when it's over, I would like to hear how this storm ended up affecting you guys. I'm hoping that it's not that bad. I'm not exactly sure what part of the storm, because we don't really have a good radar on this, what part of this storm is the most intense part. But hopefully it's the eastern side. If it's the eastern side, that means that the weaker side is weaker. Maybe the weaker winds are on that side, and maybe y'all get hit by the weaker side. So hoping for the best for you guys. If we take a look at winds, this does a good idea of showing us maybe where the strongest winds are. And honestly, off the Euro, it really looks like the southeast quadrant is the strongest part of the storm, which would be good news if it's just scraping Newfoundland here, eastern areas of Newfoundland and St. John's. So that would mean the strongest winds would be well off the coast, but I really think y'all are still going to get impacted by at least tropical storm force winds, which are 40, I can't think, guys, which are basically anywhere between 40 to 70 to 74 miles per hour. So I really think that at a brief, maybe 1 to 3 hour period, y'all are going to be dealing with that kind of weather with some nasty winds and some rain. So definitely prepare for that up there. I've been mentioning it for a couple of days. The last thing I want to talk about is this cold front. I always love talking about this time of the year. I will mention, especially here in the southeast, Georgia, the Carolinas, Alabama, Mississippi, it's a real treat when you can get two cold fronts the first 10 days of September. It happens, but it doesn't happen often. Honestly, I consider it good or lucky or whatever you want to call it if you're in the central areas of South Carolina. If we can get two cold fronts in September, and then it really starts to we start to get several in October, and then in November it just ultimately gets pretty chilly around here. But this is the second one of September, and honestly, over the last 36 hours or so, this has trended into more of a potent cold front, meaning it's looking like we're going to have more dry air, and this is going to be moving in as early as overnight as it pushes all the tropical air mass left behind from Mindy on out. So if you're in northern Alabama, a good chunk of the northern half of Mississippi, Tennessee, this is very dry air that's going to be moving into the Gulf states into tomorrow. So you're going to feel a difference here in Mississippi, Alabama, into Georgia, Atlanta. And then that dry air is going to be moving over the mountains, Appalachian Mountains, and really just the entire eastern seaboard eventually as we're getting into Friday morning. Now, even in the panhandle of Florida, you're going to see some drier weather. It's not going to make it to most of the peninsula of Florida. It just never does this year. But this is dew points in the 40s to 50s. For the majority of the weekend for most of the East Coast. Another beautiful weekend, but just like last weekend, the humidity gradually starts to return as you get into Sunday and Monday. But a beautiful cold front, another early taste of fall. And keep in mind, this is what we call false fall, especially here in the South. So it's going to get hot as Hades again. But hopefully not. Maybe not. But that's all I got, guys. Thank y'all for tuning in. Appreciate all the support, and y'all have a great night.